Okay, so this is Core Knowledge Language Arts Unit 4 Kindergarten Workbook. And if you scroll down, this is the first unit that has some text to read, which we'll go over the big book in a different video. But the workbook is going to be down at the bottom, and they have the teacher's guide, they have the big book. Currently, I'm just going to download the student workbook, show in folder, open it up, and I'm going to, if you've seen the other videos, previous videos about kindergarten, Unit 3 or 2, or no, Unit 3, then you've seen most of this. I'm going to show the stuff that is new in Unit 4 in this workbook that has not been in previous workbooks first, so you don't have to watch the whole video. But the new stuff that you have not yet seen that they offer is going to be first, then I'll go back and show if you have not seen any of the other stuff will be later. So the first new thing in this Unit 4 workbook is number 47. Number 47 is this. Well, it's not necessarily new, but it's something I want to show you on when I'm teaching my students to write the letter E. We've talked before about letters do not like to float. They get scared if they're not touching lines. So for example, when I'm teaching them to write the letter C, I don't want them to do it like that or like this because they're floating. So letters get scared if they float. They want to make sure they scratch their backs, come around and scratch their belly. So floating letters get scared. The letter E is a very scared letter because he has to be floating to start his thing. So when I write the letter E, I come about halfway down between, and I would give them a dot, write a little bit bigger. So letter E does get scared because he has to float. He starts off there and he's like, oh my gosh, where's the line? What do I do? And he panics and he runs and he goes, E! Oh, wait a minute, I can just go up there and touch a line and scratch my back. I'm fine. So he runs first, goes up, scratches his back, comes around, he's going to tag that line and he's going to run. Tag and run. So run, oh, I'm fine. Go up, around, tag, and run. And they have on all of their letters, they have words that you can say, and you should teach them words. Again, I kind of give that little story. It helps the kids know how to start their E. But their words that go with forming the letter E are short line across, most of a circle to the left. So when you're teaching them, you can say short line across, most of a circle to the left. So that's their words. And again, that little story has helped my students know how to write the letter E. The next new thing in this workbook that was not in previous workbooks is 51. And it's just phrases. So they would read the phrase, mom and dad, and then either put a bear on the picture so you can reuse the paper later at a different date, or they can circle mom and dad, fat cat, and they do it. So rather than just words, it's phrases. Number 63, and again, those of you that are new, I'm going to go back and show the rest of it later, is you would say one of the words, and then they have to circle the correct word. So if I said set, make sure if you're like me from a southern state, we have to differentiate our I and our eh very clearly, because a lot of times we need you to sit the table rather than set the table. So say it super properly, set, and then they would say it set, and they would circle that, and then they would fold the paper, make sure it's folded, where they can't see the word, and then they have to think, how do I spell set? S, t. Unfold it, give them a word, they write it, they circle it, and then they write it. Another new thing is 79. And they have a lot of the same activities from the previous workbook. I'm just showing you the stuff that's new in here. In this one, they are going to say the sound, ah, and then they're going to find the two words that say ah, which would be add and at. Again, I would fold the paper so they can't see it. I don't want them to copy. I want them to associate sounds with letters. So fold it where they can't see the words. They unfold it, say add, fold it again, and write ah, d. Always make sure their handwriting is done well. Unfold it, find your other ah word is at, fold it back, and write it by from sounds, at. So, 79, then we have 85 and 87. 85 and 87. So 85, okay, so these you would cut out, and then you would print out 87, which are the same words just in a different order. and then they would match them. So if I have this hip is cut out as an individual card, then when I'm over here, I would put it on top of hip. I have hen as an individual card, and I would put it on top of the word hen. So just a little matching activity. And then the last new thing is 95. And on this one, I'm assuming that you would fill in this with something from the teacher's guide. I would just make up a 3-sound word or 2-sound word. Sit on it. So then I would say, okay, what does this say? Sit on, I want you to make it say, sit on it. Sit on it. Cap and, have them read it, cap and that's, I want it to say cap and bag. They would say cap and bag. And they would say bag, etc. So, pig sit, whatever. Hot mug. Hog and dog, whatever. You just fill in the things for it and have them write them properly. Okay, that's the new stuff. So if you've seen the previous video for Unit 3, they have most of the same workbook activities that you saw in Unit 3. So now I'm going to do, for the person who has not seen Unit 3, just go through the rest of what this workbook offers. So pages 7 and 8, kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. When you are teaching kids to learn handwriting, research shows it helps them to have words that go along with what their hands are doing. So in this program, for an N, they would say short line down, hump. So it would be whatever my hand is doing, short line down, hump. Short line down, hump. After they've gotten pretty solid at writing the N, then you want them to say the sound associated with it. Etc. I touched on this a second ago with the letter E. Letters do not like to float, so I need to make sure I'm not doing something like this, not doing something like this, not doing something like that. They have to make sure they're scratching backs, scratching bellies, short down line, hump. Then, that's pages 7 and 8, then you would come over here and you would find let's see, have students write each word. Oh, this one you're just writing the words under the picture. So you would fold the paper here, and they can't see the words, unfold it and read a word. In, fold it back, find the picture of something that has in, the dot is in the bag, and they would unblend it and say it. Unfold it where they can see the words, cross out in. Read the next word, cat. Fold it where they can't see the words because I don't want them to copy. I want them to associate the sounds with the letters. And they say k, say the sounds as they write it, t. Unfold it, cross it out, etc. The M and the N, you can just write these on index cards. You can say, okay, which one did I say? They point to the M. Okay, how about this one? Point to the M. Point to the N. Or make it a little more challenging, give them a word that starts with an or an n. Okay, what does this start with? Not. Then they would point to the N. What does this start with? Mat. They would point to the M. So 10, 11, we got that. 13, 14. The words that go with this would be long line down, hump. They have, on these, I would have them say M as they're tracing it. Then they can write it with their pencil again here, and then fold it and have them try to write him from the sounds and from memory. If they need that more support, then unfold it and let them look at it as they're doing it. 14, word bank, you're just going to fold it up here where they can't read it. I can't remember if I showed that in this video or not, but if not, then you say hat, you come down and write it and fold it. Cross it out. Yeah, I think I did say it in this video. Okay, so 15, they read the word, draw a line to the matching picture. 17 and 18. S's can be tricky for kids to write. One thing I've found to tell them to do, and hopefully I have taught the letters C, A, D, G, and Q, because all of those start with that same motion, right? So we talked about making a teeny tiny little C, about a half C when I'm making my S, and then it's going to go back around and make a backward C. Their words are half circle to the left, half circle to the right. So half circle to the left, half circle to the right. Just for whatever reason, they're, we taught them not to float, and now they're in the middle of the line and they're having to kind of do something different. S's can be tricky. So they might need a little more support from you on being able to write those correctly. Okay, so lesson number 39, they would cut the pictures out, and then you would have a column with an S sound and a Z sound, and then they're going to place the picture underneath the one that it starts with. So star starts with a sound, they would put it underneath the S. Zebra starts with a Z sound, so after they cut it out, they would slide it under the letter Z. And then 45. This, they cut the letters out. And if you don't have a printer, just write letters on index cards or paper and have them cut them out, and then make different vowels with them. So, different words with them. Maybe real words, maybe not be real words. So it might be sip, sizz. And you can have them write the real words if you want. I've had my students before. We have like you got real words here column. And nope, not real words here. So if I'm rearranging these letters and I come up with the word nip, nip is a real word, so they would write n, I, p. Then they might do the word nis. Nis is not a real word, so nis would go here. N, I, s, etc. So then they get to practice doing that, and then we make a prediction who's going to win, the real words or not real words, who's going to have the most in the column. Anything you can turn into a contest, they really tend to like. Makes it more fun. So 47 and 51 we talked about with the other people. That's new. Actually, yeah, we learned just how to write the E. Can be kind of tricky for kids. Now we have the phrases. You circle the appropriate one. 53. You can have them use their fingers to start on the dot and practice this, or you can have them do some rainbow writing. Do it with pencil the first time, marker the second time, highlighter, crayons. Just lots of practice handwriting. Can't really overlearn handwriting. You want them to be able to do it in their sleep, so to speak. So that's 53, 55. It's just a way that you can write down if they were able to read the words correctly. So if they misread it, you can write what they wrote. It's kind of a way to keep track of what they're able to write. 57, you tell them a word, met. They have to read the words, and I would not necessarily have them circle it because you can use this multiple times. Have them put something on top of the word met, a paperclip or a little toy or whatever. Then go to number 2, vet. Number 3, hen. Again, us Southerners need to make sure we say our as properly. And then you can go back and do different words the next time. So I like doing that rather than circling it, because once you circle it, it's kind of done. So 63, we already talked about earlier. Give them a word, you have it folded. And then 67, you would, what is this word? Pin. Again, pen and pin. So make sure you say it properly, and they would circle p, I, n. 71, you make a little wheel. And this is one I made from a different video, but you put a little brad in each of the holes, and then you have a wheel where they can spin and read the words. Did, dig, dad. Again, these are a little bit different than what you see in the video because it's from a previous video, but you get the idea. 75. What is that? They circle it, or, yep. 79. We've already talked about that a little bit earlier. Again, folded at the top so they can't read it afterwards. Make them do it from sounding it out. 85 and 87 we also talked about earlier, where they match the words to the words on that page. And then 95 we talked about earlier, which is you can just give them I guess there's 3 sounds in each of these. Those little lines are for. So anyway, hopefully this is helpful. Give you guys some things to work on with your child or your students. Most of these activities you can do without a printer. You can just kind of do your own version on index cards. To me, are pretty invaluable. I use them a lot, or on paper, whatever works for you. So hopefully that's helpful.